ailanthus here is one of the most magnificent trees in the garden. Obviously, it's over 100 years old, and they wanted like 6 or 7 like that for the garden. This was on a street, on Ankeny Street, and about 16th or 17th in Southeast, in front of a rental house. They gave it to us, and we went over there, dug it up, and craned it out of there one night. And you can see it's pretty wide, so it was a challenge to get across the Burnside Bridge here. We had to do that at about 5 o'clock in the morning. This magnolia was the biggest tree that we planted. We got it from the experiment station down in Aurora, and obviously it's struggling now. It was pretty old. It was another challenge to get down the road because it was way wider than what would legally easily go down the road. The root ball is about 10 feet in diameter and probably 4.5 feet deep. And again, it was another 200-ton crane that put it here. We didn't have to lift this one over the building, but it was quite the challenge to get down the road. We had to get special permits. So this pine, this triple pine here, was found on the widening of 26, the Sunset Highway near the Sylvan exit. And when they were widening it, they had a number of trees were going to go, and we were driving by, and they asked if they could have them, and I looked and I said, I bet you can. And so I called up the Department of Transportation. Can you imagine this happening? I called the Department of Transportation, and they just said, talk to the contractor there. It looks like they go. So I talked to the contractor. They were like, yeah, if you can get them in the next couple of weeks. And so we went over there and dug them up and took them out of there, and we got this. And this was another scary one to move down the road because it hung off the truck. It was twice as wide as the truck was, and we caught this barricade, motorcade, follow the trailer truck and block the whole highway off so nobody can get by you. And took it down to our storage yard over here and got it over here. And there's 2 of them. There's one outside the garden also that we got at the same time. The pine came from Pine Art Nursery out in Scappoose, and Ralph Olson, who was still alive at the time, this was his baby. This one here he had been taken care of for like 45 years. So this juniper we found at Larry Stanley's completely by accident. We have some other plants from Larry here that he graciously donated. And this was by where he dumped all the pots and had soil piled up and everything, and it's probably fell out of a pot and nobody did anything about it. And it kept growing and growing there, and nobody took the time to chop it down, and that's why it was there. And they saw that and they said, oh, what about that? And Larry, again, woke Larry up. He didn't have to give away another plant from his display garden, which he generously already gave a couple of. So this Pinus parviflora came from Larry Stanley also. And the interesting thing about it is not so much this tree, but its predecessor. The first one we dug was, well, certainly the biggest. This is probably bigger than this one is now. And we dug it. Everything was perfect. We put it on the truck, and we were putting a tarp over it and snugging the tarp down. Nobody did anything wrong. Larry was right there. I was not. Larry was right there, and as they were snugging the tarp down, the trunk just broke off about 4 feet off the ground. Oh. It was like a 12-inch trunk. It just snapped. Oh. And it was like, oh my God. And he didn't freak, which was pretty surprising to me. And he said, well, we got another one. Do you want it? And so we had to dig another one and take it instead.